Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried & Jensen. As proud sponsors of Beliefcast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
And we're back. Thanks for joining us once again. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Sylvester Beliefcast. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to have another amazing person on the show, Hannah Allen. Hannah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank our sponsors, Siegfried & Jensen, Wasatch Recovery, Veracity Networks, and iHill Institute. I can't thank you guys enough for believing in me and supporting this great cause. And I also want to thank every one of you that are listening week after week. It's awesome, and I love you guys. I can't thank you enough. I wish I could give you guys all a hug, but it's just an amazing thing. And, you know, it's because of our guests that we have on. They just share such amazing stories. They get vulnerable, and today's one of those opportunities for Hannah to get vulnerable with us. She's lives an amazing life, but she's been through some hard times as well. A little background on Hannah. She was a competitive swimmer. She swam in high school, obviously as a child as well, but she went to Lehigh High School, then to BYU, and then eventually to Dixie State after serving a mission for her church in Oregon. Is that correct?
Yep.
And that's where she met her husband, Kage Allen.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about him in a minute. She's been through a lot of tough times, but she's also, you know, we have a mutual friend, Randy Wilstead. We got to give him a shout out.
He's
and
awesome.
he thinks the world of you. And he reached out to me. He's like, you've got to have Hannah on your podcast. You've got to. And I'm like, I didn't hesitate because if Randy says that, I'm in. And he just couldn't say enough good things about you. But I guess, you know, you have shared your story down there.
Yes.
And he heard your story and he was blown away. And I'm just so excited for our listeners to hear it, you know, firsthand, obviously from you.
Right.
And so thank you, Hannah, for being willing to come take some time and do this for us.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So why don't we start? Tell us where you grew up and tell us about, you know, your childhood and where did this competitive swimmer come from?
Gotcha. Yeah. So I grew up in Lehigh, Utah, back before, like, when Lehigh was kind of like hick country of Utah County.
Yeah, a lot of horses everywhere.
Right. Like, no one knew where Lehigh was. They knew where Provo was in Salt Lake, and Lehigh was this in-between ground. And it was great. Like, I just grew up, there was fields behind my house, and I, like, lived in a neighborhood where, I don't know, my parents let me go outside, and we roamed between all the neighbors' houses and had a little neighborhood gang, and just like a really good childhood. But my parents were super smart because in the summers they would stick us in a summer swim team, and so we had to go to bed early even in the summer because we had swim practice the next morning.
Got to get up early.
Yeah. And so I just, every summer I was on a summer swim team, and I just really loved it. I wasn't very good at the beginning, to be honest. Like, they had these meets at the end of the summer, and it was bronze, silver, and gold. And I always went to the silver and got 16th. And so, but I just really loved swimming. And so,
what events did you participate in? All of them?
So I, my best event is called the breaststroke. It's like the froggy one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't move very fast, but I'm okay at butterfly. So then another event I would swim was the butterfly, and then also the IM, or the individual medley, which is a race where you race all the strokes.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like it very much, but I swam it.
Yeah. So, obviously you said you weren't very good at first, but you ended up really enjoying it, obviously, because you ended up doing it competitively. Oh, yeah. So how did swimming kind of shape you as a child?
It shaped me a lot. So I just felt like it gave me something to focus on, and I fell in love with the self-improvement process. I know some people compete and they compete against competition, but I looked at more as my competition as helping me to achieve the goal that I had. And so yeah, like in junior high, I remember I had to sit and beg my dad for for like 3 months to put me on a year-round swim team, because I was just like, I think I can be good. And he was like, I don't know. And that's like a big time commitment.
Sure.
And
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I fell in love with it. And I feel like you kind of have to, because of like as you progress, like in high school and in college, the time commitment to it.
Yeah.
You just have to love it to a degree to keep doing it.
For sure.
But I also was really blessed with a lot of like coaches, and I would say like life mentors through swimming.
Yeah, sure.
And one of those was my high school coach. His name's Dennis Myring. And he actually had this mental program that's really influenced my life. But he pretty much taught us, even in high school, that our thoughts like influence our actions.
Yeah.
And so I just learned the importance of that. And one of the ways he taught us that was we'd get like a paper clip and a string, and we would like rest our arm and our hand on the table, and you like hold still, but you tell this paper clip to like go in circles.
Yeah, just with your thoughts.
Yeah,
you just think it going in a direction.
Exactly. Yeah. And like what you don't realize is that every thought you have does have like a physical reaction, but you're not moving your fingers back and forth, and you're not like moving your arm. And I think that like learning that in high school really shaped my life, because I was like, okay, like I want to feed myself and feed my thoughts with like the best things that I can, because it will influence like where I want to go. And so
now you're speaking my language. I am passionate about thoughts and belief systems, how it dictates our lives and everything. And that's what I do all day long. So you're really getting me excited over here.
I love it.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because I think props to your swim coach, Dennis, right?
Yeah, Dennis.
And so shout out to Dennis. So hopefully he'll listen to this.
Yeah, I'll send a link to him.
Please send it to him. But no, shout out to him to teaching not only you, but everyone he was coaching, how powerful and important our thoughts are.
Right.
Not just with swimming, but in life, right?
Right.
So Hannah, I mean, again, you come across as a very confident, positive person. You got a good energy about you. Were you always like that? Were you like that as a young child, or did you struggle with your thoughts? Did you? I did
actually struggle. I mean, I've always been a dreamer, so that's helped me a lot, because I'm like, but like in junior high, I struggled because I have asthma, so I get sick a lot, and I missed a lot of school in junior high and stuff like that, and my grades were affected, and like my peers were like, oh, that's the girl that's always gone, and wow. And so actually, well, I'm about to tell this to a lot of listeners, but a lot of people don't know this, but I didn't technically graduate the junior high.
Okay.
But they let me go on to high school. But part of that was because I missed so much school, and I didn't make up like the attendance requirement. And so I really struggled with that, because I wasn't who I wanted to be. But it was when I got into high school and I met Dennis Myring that he was able to, I don't know, change my thoughts and make me realize that who I was in the past didn't have to be who I was going to be in the future.
I love that.
And so
that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, and think about junior high. Most kids, if not every kid, struggles with their thinking. And I think we're hard on ourselves. I think we beat ourselves up. We compare. We do all these things.
Right.
So I can imagine when you're missing a lot of school, sick a lot. It's interesting you have asthma, but you're a swimmer. Yeah. You think like you would have avoided that because of the asthma. So that says a lot about you right there, because I'm sure that wasn't easy. So, as you started working on that, did you notice yourself feeling more empowered? Did you feel that kind of thing?
Oh yeah. Like I feel like as I began to believe in myself, because Coach Myring believed in me, and then I was able to learn to believe in myself. Like, yeah, you do feel empowered, and you kind of are like, okay, like if I can do this, like everybody can do it. Sure. Because before I was like, I'm not going to make it. Like I can't get my, I can't make up my school attendance and this and that. And like my self-esteem was just like super low, but yeah.
Well, I know you're a very spiritual girl.
Yes.
Faith is a big part of your life.
Huge.
Talk about the influence your faith has been growing up and why that played a big part in who you are today.
Okay. Yeah. So I grew up a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And, I've always from a young age have felt that like I had a loving Heavenly Father. Like I never questioned that God was there. But where my faith really began to be important to me was actually in high school. It was a really shaping time for me, but I had an experience where I had a bunch of teammates that didn't like me very much, and I was bullied. And
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and I just remember being like, well, why? Why don't they like me? And so for the first time that year, I wanted to really know who Jesus Christ was. And so I studied the Bible and the Book of Mormon, which are both testaments of Jesus Christ. And I gained in high school like a testimony that Jesus Christ like was real, number one, and two, that like he was the Son of God. And I just really looked to him as an example I looked to him as an example to like model my life after. And I just learned to forgive and that was like the real time where I was like, okay, like Heavenly Father loved us so much that he sent Jesus Christ to like give us an example, but to also know that like there's hope when things go wrong.
Yeah. So I can imagine that was really difficult to be bullied.
Yeah.
I mean, there's never a good reason ever to be bullied, but I mean, did you know why these kids were teasing you? Was it because of your faith, or was it because of other issues, or did you not even know, like people just had something out for you?
Right. I wasn't entirely sure because they were my teammates. I'd been friends with them. And then it was more of like behind my back things, but then like the whole team knew what was going on, and they would come tell me, oh, so-and-so said this about you. And then I'd like walk behind them and saw them spit on my car and stuff. And I was perplexed because they wouldn't confront me about it. And so, yeah, I really didn't know. It couldn't be because of my swimming, because I was starting to excel and like have the possibility of swimming in college. But I didn't know. I was super perplexed. Sure, and so that's why I turned to the scriptures.
And you drew on your faith for support and strength. And I think, for our listeners, I mean, there's a lot that maybe aren't members of your church, but I think it's important to have a higher power, whatever that is for someone, and to be able to draw strength from that, especially in those moments when you do feel, I mean, that had to have been kind of at times a lonely feeling.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as you move forward, obviously you start noticing yourself, you're really good at swimming. Yeah. You start getting really good and you start doing competitively. Talk about, that led you to, I think you went to, you swam for BYU, is that correct?
I did, so yes.
Did you get a scholarship? How does that work?
I did. So in high school, I got noticed by BYU because I dropped a significant amount of time. And they offered me a scholarship. And I grew up in Utah County, so if I'm being completely honest, at first I was like, I don't know if I want to go 30 minutes down the road to college. But it was a wonderful opportunity. And so, my freshman year I spent at BYU, learned a lot. It was really hard. Like, as swimmers in college, there's an NCAA rule that you can only work out 20 hours a week. Oh, really? But swimmers max it out.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah, they work.
And so my freshman year was not a typical freshman year. It was definitely like in bed by like 9 at the latest and up by like 5.
Oh, man.
And so
in college, that's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually most kids don't sleep in college, right?
It's true. It's true. And I lived in a dorm where like we would hear girls come in at like 1 a.m. And my roommate was like, well, we don't go stomping down the halls at 5 a.m. to wake them all up.
Yeah, really.
So we like kind of live like this parallel lifestyle to most college students. So
yeah.
Did
you enjoy it? I mean, did you love swimming in a college format?
I did. I enjoyed it more after my mission, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But like freshman year was a little bit like super stressful, kind of like a shock to the system.
Everything's new and not sure what to expect.
Right. But I knew I loved swimming and I loved like the competing. But like, that freshman year, that was a little bit rough.
Sure.
But
so then you serve a mission in Oregon.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
And then when you come back, you go to Dixie State.
I do. Yes.
Okay. So is that, and you continued swimming there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's when you felt like, okay, I'm kind of hit my stride.
Yeah.
I'm in my zone, so to
I'm in
speak.
my zone. Yeah. And the great thing about Dixie State is they had gotten a new swimming program. And that's like what enticed me to go down there, was the chance to like influence a culture, like a new culture. And so I joined their swim team the second year that it had been there. And I just really loved it. And it was a Division II school at the time. So a little bit like less pressure, and I was able to focus more on my academics, but yet enjoy swimming still. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, now we'll shift gears just a little bit here. We just mentioned you served a mission in Oregon, and that's where you ended up meeting your husband.
Yeah.
Kage Allen. Okay.
Okay.
And we want to talk about this story again. For those who don't know, he passed away over about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so talk about how you met him. I'm going to kind of let you just run with this story. Tell us how that all went down, and talk about, what led up to, him passing away. And then we're going to talk about how you're handling all this, which is pretty amazing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Kage is like my favorite topic, so I can definitely
awesome.
Take it and run with it.
Thank you.
So I had served a mission in Oregon for my church, and but I came back and was in St. George, Utah, going to school, swimming, and I had tried dating down there, but with not much success. And so I kind of got desperate, if we're being honest. And Kage and I hate admitting this, but we met through a dating app. It was one of those ones you swipe through pictures.
Hey, that's the way of the world now.
I know.
Seriously.
I know. There's a lot of people now, but Kage and I are like old souls. We're like, we wish we'd met like in a more traditional way.
Right.
So I like downloaded it like late at night, and I just swiped through a million profiles. And Kage was the second guy I matched with. And I went on a few dates from like the matches I'd gotten, and he was messaging me. And to be honest, I thought he was a little bit of a flirt and a player, because I'm like, who uses that many winky faces in text messages? Like, I haven't even met you yet.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah. And he had like all the lines, like, and but he had saw like in my little bio on my little dating app, he saw that I'd served a mission in Oregon, and he at the time was up in Oregon learning to fly the F-15. And he was like, hey, Hannah, any chance I can get you to come visit the mission? And I was like, well, like I'm pretty like tied down to St. George because of my swimming.
Yeah.
But eventually we FaceTimed, and the first time we FaceTimed for like 3 hours. And
so you hit it off.
We hit it off.
We're connecting here. It's working.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And it was cool too, because like with typical dating, you usually have an activity or something, but we only had each other, like staring at each other through a screen. So we knew we got along to some degree.
Right.
And that was enough to convince me to fly up to Oregon to meet him. And before I flew up, he like sent me his driver's license, like all the stuff and his parents' number and everything we needed to know about him.
Kind of like a background check.
Yeah, exactly. To give to my parents. Because my family was a little bit like, what are you doing?
Who's this dude you're going to go see, this stranger? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The most surprising part was my dad was on board. And the rest of my family thought my dad and I had lost our minds.
You're like, why is dad on board, right? He should be the one saying no.
Oh, yeah. And so it was a little bit like.
That's funny.
It was just exciting. And so I flew up there to meet him. And the thing was, is if we didn't hit it off in person, the plan was to go visit areas where I had been while I served my mission. But needless to say, we did not visit any of the areas that I had awesome. Served on my mission. And just to give you like a little bit like of a background of like who Kage is, our first kiss story is actually really funny. So we were up in Oregon. He took me on a motorcycle ride, and he later admitted to speeding up, so I'd hold on tighter, and he like totally. That's
a good move.
Yeah, he knew it.
Note to self, right?
Speed up.
Speed up if you want a hug.
Right.
Tight hug.
And so we got off and we parked by a lake, and we were sitting there just talking, and he like the conversation kind of lulled a little bit, and he said, "Hey Hannah, do you want to see a magic trick?" And I was like, maybe. And he pulls out his wallet, and he pulls out the nicest $1 bill that he can find. And he's like, "See this $1 bill?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "It's like a whole $1." He goes, "I bet you this $1 that I can kiss you without even touching you."
Oh, wow.
And I kind of looked at him, but I like saw past it, and I was like, "You're just going to kiss me and give me the $1.
Exactly. I'm not dumb.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, "What? No, like you're not supposed to know that." And like, so we laughed, and then eventually I like looked at him because I knew I liked him, and I was like, "I'll take your $1." So I took the $1. He gave me a super quick kiss, I remember. And then he goes, "I felt the magic." I was like, oh man. And anyway, he just had lines like that all the time. In fact, after we'd been dating for a while, the guys at his squadron, he'd go back and like tell him how it was going and like the lines he'd used on me. Mm-hmm. And one of his buddies was like, "Kage, dude, you got to teach me how to flirt with my own wife."
Right.
And
he had it down.
Yeah, he had it down. And so, yeah, we just hit it off, and we ended up dating primarily distant.
Okay.
Because I was down in St. George still swimming, my senior year of swimming, and he was, up in Oregon learning to fly the F-15.
So, yeah, and he's is it first lieutenant?
Yeah,
right?
He was the first lieutenant.
Okay. And he was training to fly the F-15 Eagle, I think. Is that correct?
The F-15 Eagle, yeah.
Yeah,
which is like a really amazing aircraft.
It's like what you see in Top Gun, movie, right? Those amazing aircraft.
Yeah, like they're pulling a lot of G's, and they're just you got to be a really top-notch person and pilot to be able to fly one of those things. So so we did that, and we hit it off, and we just honestly were best friends because I mean, like a lot of our relationship was just talking or FaceTiming over the phone, and so we just grew really close. And so then January 2020, he surprised me down in St. George. I thought he was coming to town. Well, because I caught on he was coming, which I shouldn't have, but I caught on that he was coming into town, and I thought he was coming to watch my last swim meet. But he came into town and he proposed. Oh, and so he still got a little bit of a surprise. Yeah. And at this point we knew he was going to be stationed in England. And so the plan was, we're going to get engaged. He's going to fly over to England. He's going to get mission qualified, which, as Kage put it, means like he's licensed to kill, meaning he can shoot down other aircraft. Like he's an official wingman. Oh, okay. And then he was going to come back, and we were going to get married, have our big celebration, and, just everything. And then I was going to go with him to England. Okay. But we started to realize that I needed to get all my military paperwork done in order to be with him in England. And I couldn't do that until we were married. And, and so we were like, wait, hold up. So in February, we last minute decided to get married. Right. And so Kage is also a member of my same faith, and oftentimes members of our faith, they get married and sealed in the temple, and they just do it like they do the religious ceremony and the civil ceremony like all in one. And normally if you get married and then you want to be sealed, you had to wait a year. But the church had just come out with a policy change saying like, oh, if circumstances need to, you can get married and then you can be sealed.
I gotcha.
And so we counseled with our parents, and last minute, like we went to one of our religious leaders' offices, and we were married 4 days before he left for England.
Oh, okay.
And so it was in the middle. I remember the day we got married, we actually took engagement photos. I had already had a swim workout. I had gone to school. Like it was in the middle of like a really chaotic time.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was just, I don't know. I never questioned like the adversity we faced leading up to it, because it just felt right. And he was my best friend, and I was like, yeah, we're doing this. So we got married, send him off to England while I'm finishing up school. And then, as everyone knows, 2020 coronavirus happened.
Yeah.
And what that ended up doing was that locked him down in England. Like England really locked down.
Yeah, they did.
And I was stuck here trying to fill out my military paperwork out as fast as I could and get my military passport so that I could just go over and be with him. And so during that time, I just remember Kage was like super optimistic, and he was just like, you know what, Hannah, like at least we have each other. And so we'd FaceTime all the time, and we were just grateful that like at least we got each other, and like we're gonna get over to each other eventually. But June 14th was Kage's 27th birthday. And I remember that was a really good day because I FaceTimed him twice. So we were doing good, and my birthday package had got to him, and like that was a miracle in and of itself. So I watched him open up his birthday package, and it was just a really good day. And he FaceTimed family and stuff, and we were just able to tell him like how much we loved him. And I'd actually just a week prior gotten my military passport. So him and I were in the process of figuring out, okay, like, how am I, like, we're probably, like, how am I going to get to England, and, like, trying to figure out, too, when we'd have our wedding celebration, and also still get sealed in the temple, which was the religious ceremony for us. Yeah. And so, but June 15th, 2020, was the absolute worst day of my entire life. And I cry and then I don't cry, so bear with me. But
no, you're good. You just be real.
Yeah. So I got a call that you like every military spouse. It's their worst nightmare. And the call was originally at first it was just you know, like got a call from England, knew that was a bad thing. And Kage's commanding officer got on the phone and he said, your husband is missing in action. And immediately my heart dropped because I knew they fly over the North Sea. I knew the North Sea's cold. My worst nightmare would be if Kage had drowned in the North Sea, you know, because I'm a swimmer. So,
sure.
And so I just heart dropped. His parents happened to be in town in St. George, and I'd been hanging out with them. So I remember I just got dressed. I just like flew over to their condo they were staying at, and they hadn't got the news yet. So I come to the door and I'm just in shock and tears, and I come in, and we then like several minutes later, like half an hour maybe later, we got the news that they had been searching in the North Sea for 5 hours, and that they found an undeployed parachute, and that like Kage was presumably dead. And I just remember that day my heart shattered and broke in a way that like I didn't even know was humanly possible. When they say like, oh, that's unimaginable, in a lot of ways I think it is until you really go through it. And so I just my heart broke, and I don't know, grief it's a really, really powerful emotion, and
it is.
I've had to learn to deal with that, but But I just remember, so part of our being a member of our faith was we believe that Jesus Christ is in the process of restoring his church to the earth. And with that restoration, like there was things that were lost from when he was originally here. And one of those things was like the ability to bind things in heaven and in earth. And so we believe that he's restored that power. And one of the places that happens is in the temple. And I just remember Kage and I had not been sealed yet, which is to be like bind on heaven and in earth. Right. And I just remember being like, wait, hold up. Like, this is really, really important to me. And so but I know normally you have to wait a year. If you're not already sealed when your spouse passed, you usually have to wait a year. And so I ended up, Elder Renland, who's an apostle in our church, had heard the story, and he called me in to meet with him, and he let me share my story with him. And he said, well, I have to ask the first presidency, which is like church leadership, for permission, but I will ask for you. And so within 20 minutes of leaving his office, I got permission to be sealed to Kage in the Bountiful, Utah temple. Mm-hmm. And it was 15 days after he'd passed away and before his funeral. And even though like I was so heartbroken and just so like in shock, like I remember the first week I only slept 9 hours total. When I went into the temple on June 30th to be sealed to Kage by proxy, which just means like a person will stand in his place. Mm-hmm. There was a peace that surpassed my understanding. Like I didn't know why on that day, in the midst of extreme heartbreak, that I was able to find peace. And a lot of that goes back to my faith, like I talked about in high school. Just my faith that there's a God and he loves us, and so he sent his son Jesus Christ, and because of Jesus Christ, every wrong and every heartbreak and every injustice in this life will one day be made right. But I'm not gonna lie, right after Kage passed away, I had to go back and re-examine my faith, because grief is such an overwhelming emotion that like sometimes you can't feel anything. And so I just remember being like, well, where is my faith? But something that people on my Instagram and social media see me post a lot is I've learned that like faith or trust, especially in God, has to do more with our actions than it does with our emotions. And looking back, I had more faith than I realized. But I did remember I went back to the scriptures like I did in high school, and I had to read it again. I had to know, like, is this really true? Like, is Kage really still there, or is he gone? Like, is this just the end? But for me, I gained a personal witness that by the end of like when I read the scriptures, I was like, no, it's all true. Like he's still there, and like because of Jesus Christ, Kage and I, my story is not over. Yeah. And so,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that so that was so it was June. Was that June of 2020?
June of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, like you said, getting the news like that. You know what I mean? Like getting that phone call.
Yeah.
And then you happen to go tell his parents because they hadn't got the news yet.
Right.
And they see you obviously just crying and distraught and wondering what's going on. And I can't imagine how hard that was for you and for his parents. And but what's amazing, what you said is like through this whole process, and obviously relying on your faith and things like that, but more like that you said it, this peace that you felt that just kind of surpasses all understanding. You know, I've had a lot of people on this podcast who have said similar things. You know, I've had people who have been through some of the most horrific things, and they're like you. They're positive. They've got a good energy. And it's like, how how are you like this? You know? And it's so beautiful to see you, Hannah, and how, you know, Randy wasn't kidding. Like just the way you carry yourself and this energy and this spirit and this love you have that just kind of beams from you. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Thank you.
I'm having a hard time maybe explaining what I'm feeling here.
Right.
But it's the feeling in the room now, just the way you're talking about this is really powerful.
Oh yeah. And sometimes I've had a few people comment similar comments to me, and I truly believe that sometimes Kage, I don't know how it works on the other side, but I do believe there's a life after this, and that there really is just like a veil that keeps us from seeing him. And sometimes I feel like he's allowed to pop in, and so I'm like, part of it's probably he comes and goes, and that's something that's been really unique is there's so many coincidences in my life after Kage's passed that I just know that I'm not alone, and that he's still way more involved in my life than I can even comprehend. Yeah. And
I'm glad you say that, because I had a guy on my podcast. His name's Jeff Olson, and he died and came back.
Oh wow! I'd like to talk to him.
Oh, you need to. You should actually really listen to what he said. He's amazing. He would love to meet with you, by the way. That's the kind of guy he is.
Right.
But he talks about exactly what you just are saying, and he's witnessed it firsthand.
Oh yeah.
When he was talking to me, I was just like blown away.
Right.
And again, a reason why I bring this up is that he talked about it's all love. God is love.
Exactly.
Kage is love. You are love. And like just the feeling I'm feeling from you, it's like this love. It's so awesome.
It is.
And I think that's when we do feel, people who have maybe gone on to the other side, and is when we feel this love. It's a love. It's a love, right? Is that accurate?
Oh, that's completely accurate. And like you said, like God's love, Kage's love, I just think from the other side, they care about us more than we than we even care about ourselves sometimes. And that feeling, that's completely accurate.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think you guys would have a great conversation. You guys just really chat. I'll get you his info.
Yes, please do.
But so as you go through this, and you obviously share this story a lot. You're not afraid to talk about it, obviously.
Right.
Here you are telling us the story.
Right.
Let me ask you this. What are some of and I know this is a big question, but what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned through this trial that you've gone through that you could share with us that would help us even? Gotcha.
Yeah. So one of the biggest lessons that I have learned is that like our emotions, they aren't necessarily what dictate our actions. And like I said, I really questioned my faith at the beginning because I felt empty. I was so heartbroken. And I was just like, I just thought, if I have this great faith and trust in a God and in a Savior, that why am I struggling as hard as I'm struggling? And and through this past year, I've done a lot of introspect, I guess you could say. Yeah,
sure.
And I've learned that, the emptiness or the feelings that do come up, like the sadness or the frustration occasionally, that are associated with grief, they're attached to my longing and loving of Kage. And that's something entirely different than my faith and trust in God. And I've just been able to learn to separate the two, because I have some widow friends, some of my faith, some not, but you get told, it's really surprising the people that come out of the woodworks as soon as something like this happens. And some of the best advice I ever got was actually from Jenny Taylor. She lives up in Ogden, and her husband was a mayor who passed away in Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
But she's like, people are going to say the stupidest things, but they love you. And so you kind of have to remember that, because you get a lot of comments that when you're in a place of grieving, they just don't sit quite right, and then they make you I don't know, question whether you're grieving correctly, because you're like, well, I have days where I just cry. And the first few months, not going to lie, I spent a lot of time in bed, and I just had to process like my new reality, because it was my new husband, and not only did I lose him, but I lost the future with him for the time being. And so, but like I said, the biggest lesson I think I've learned is just that, like the emotions I felt, although they were very powerful, they weren't attached to like my core beliefs, and that my actions were more influenced by my core beliefs than what I was initially feeling.
Yeah, very well said. I think, everyone grieves differently.
It's
There's
very true.
There's similar stages of grief,
right?
But everyone goes through it differently.
Yep, amen to that.
Right, and so I'm glad you brought that up. I think there's nothing's wrong with you if you're grieving different than someone else. It doesn't mean someone's better than the other person. It's just we just do that differently.
Yeah.
If there's someone listening to you right now who's lost a loved one, who's struggling with it still, or they're not of your faith, they're just they feel lost, they feel hopeless. Like what's some advice that you could maybe give them?
Man. Yeah, that's
another big question.
That's a big question. My advice just initially is to give yourself like grace, and to give yourself because I think on top of losing a loved one, we tend to beat ourselves up, because it's such a powerful, because I feel like the deeper you love, sometimes the greater the loss. Because another quote I love was that tears are just love with nowhere to go. Wow. And so you miss your opportunities to love the person that you lost. And so I would just say, be extremely patient with yourself as you learn to cope the new reality that is in front of you.
Love that.
And give yourself space and time. Relationships may change, boundaries may change. Even for me, I have super loving family and a lot of people that care about me, but I've had to find spaces to let out my emotions of missing Kage, that in a healthy way. Because sometimes people around you don't want to see you hurt, so they try to fix it, and losing a loved one, they can't fix that. They can't bring them back from the dead. And so I guess just being extremely patient and finding healthy ways and places to miss the person that you've lost.
I love that. That's good advice. I would imagine too, talking to people too. I mean, one of the things you're really good at, and again, I get this from Randy too, just you share your story a lot. You own it. Yeah. You're not afraid to talk about it. Has that been a big part of your healing process as well?
Oh, absolutely. And I know this is a different thing for people that are grieving. Some people don't want to talk about it. Yeah. Because it's something so vulnerable and close to their heart. I think one of the reasons I have talked about it so much is, as a young widow with no kids, a lot of people instantly were like, you're going to get remarried. And I personally have no desire at the time to date or, and I just,
which is understandable.
Right.
I mean, it's not okay, I'm going to hurry and go get married.
Oh, exactly.
You're no, let me embrace what I'm going through right now.
Oh,
right?
Exactly. And I'm I feel Kage is very much still involved in my life. And I'm okay. If I were to choose to not get remarried, I still believe I can live a very purposeful and good life and bless people. Yeah. And so I've been more vocal about it, I think, because I just want people to understand that. And plus, I'm so smitten with Kage. If you go look at my Instagram, it looks like his Instagram more than my Instagram, because I just have videos and pictures of him. And I'm also super proud of how he lived and how he died, that I just want to continue his legacy. So
I love it.
That's probably one of the reasons I have been more open about sharing my story, I guess. So
I love it. Yeah. You have any plans some big plans coming up that you'd want to do? You'd like to share with us?
Yeah. So my big plans, I'm going back to school. So I took a year off school after Kage died. And I have the opportunity to go on to get like a master's or doctorate of some sort. So that's the tentative plan, future.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is because of the way Kage died. I've been blessed with these opportunities.
Yeah.
And I also am trying to figure out, I probably am going to just write a book to like compile all of Kage and my stories. So that's like a tentative plan that I'm trying to figure out. But yeah, just mainly going back to school and just trying to do good with my life. I would love to get involved in swimming again in some way, shape, or form. Be like a
coach?
Yeah, like a coach. I
teach kids about how powerful their thoughts are, just like Dennis taught you.
Yes,
right?
No, exactly. In fact, Coach Myring, so the mental program that he had, because it was to train your subconscious.
Yeah.
His friend actually developed it, and then his friend died of cancer, and he promised his friend he would never let it die. And so he's now trying to find other people because he's getting older. He's in his 70s.
Right.
And he's like, and I'm like one of the people on the radar. I'm like, Coach, I will carry on the legacy.
Yeah.
And so
that would be cool.
I would love to do something like that. So yeah.
Wow. That would be awesome. And to be able to teach kids, obviously you're passionate about helping other people.
Yes.
And you love swimming.
I love swimming.
It seems like a perfect match.
Right? Right?
Yeah. I could definitely see you doing that in the future for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, any last things you'd want to tell us, like that we would need to know that would be helpful for us? I can't thank you enough for sharing this. I know it's not an easy thing to talk about, but people who are listening to this right now are like, man, she's so positive. I guarantee you that's what they're saying. You really are. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess my last bit of advice or wisdom is to figure out like what your core beliefs are, and then like take time to discover them. Like for me, like mine's really anchored on my faith, especially in Jesus Christ. But whatever your core beliefs are, no matter your faith, those are going to influence your actions when the hard times come. And I'm convinced hard times will come for everyone in some shape, way, or form in this life. But like despite the emotions, if you know what your core beliefs are, they will influence your actions more than your emotions will.
I love it.
So.
Love it. No, I couldn't agree more. Our beliefs dictate our behavior.
Yes.
That's a big thing that I teach my clients. And so that's awesome. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
You know, if someone wants to reach out to you and, you know, learn more about you and Kage and just more about your story or ask you a question, what would be the best way for them to do that?
The best way is probably Instagram.
Okay.
Like people will DM me and I usually look at all of them.
Okay.
So my Instagram is just Hannah and Kage 17.
Okay.
And there's a lot of stories and stuff there like about Kage. But yeah, that's probably the best way. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well, Hannah, you're awesome. Thank you for sitting down with me today and sharing your story with our listeners.
Right.
And, and again, I love your attitude. I love your dedication to your faith, your just dedication to helping other people. Yeah, I think it's fantastic, and I can see why everyone loves to be around you and feel your love and energy that you have towards life. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, there you go, folks. I told you it was going to be another amazing story. So thanks for joining us. Again, thanks to our sponsors. I can't thank you guys enough for believing in me. And please reach out to Hannah Allen. Again, it's Hannah and Kage 17 on her Instagram. Send her a direct message and you can ask her any questions, get to know more about her. If you need someone to come speak to your youth group, reach out to her. I'm sure she'd love to do that. She's so down. And if anyone's looking for a coach for swimming, she's the one.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I love you guys. And Hannah, thank you again. You're awesome.
Thank you.